Hi there, welcome back to Gaining Vision. I'm Melanie. Thanks so much for clicking. To my returning subscribers, thanks so much for your continuous support. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy. I've discovered a new YouTube channel again, guys. I'm so excited to share what I've discovered. Now you may be asking, Melanie, why do you always talk about YouTubers from Africa? And there's several reasons. The first, they have great content. Secondly, as an entrepreneur whose focus is diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's important for me to understand various cultures and ways of life across the globe. So I'm just exploring, but also they have so many inspiring entrepreneurial stories that I just landed on and I want to share with you. The new channel I've discovered is Odana Network. Now this channel is incredible. They have so many incredible stories, entrepreneurship, stories of success, really focusing on the diaspora. And Denta shares her stories through an amazing style where she connects and immerses herself into an experience.
But why alcohol? Somebody from the UK come to Ghana to do alcohol. What did your parents say? Sit down, let's talk.
The story that I stumbled across that inspired me, educated me, and of course gave me some nuggets of tips and tricks for entrepreneurs was one of a young woman from the UK.
So guys, I'm here to see a young lady from the UK. You know me, I'm always promoting the diaspora coming back home, and I do so because I feel as if we are the game changers. We are the ones that are going to change Ghana. And when you hear this story, when you hear her journey of how she moved from the UK to set up her business here, to set up her company. And when I tell you Rain, that is the name of the company, and we're here at the distillery to see how it's all done and to inspire you to come back home to Ghana and do something. This is a young girl, she's not even 40 yet, but she's doing things. Come and join me.
Her name is Alma. Now, Alma had been born and raised in the UK. Her family was originally from Ghana, so she was a child of the diaspora. So she shares that she always knew she'd come back to Ghana in some way. Her parents never intended to stay in the UK.
I'm a child of the diaspora.
Yep.
I was born in South London, specifically.
South London girl.
South London girl, whatever, for the good and the bad, maybe. But I'm from South London, and but I'm Ghanaian. And as a child of the diaspora, going back home is always somewhere in your mind. And I think it always has been, you know. My parents never intended to stay in the UK.
Her father had gone back and even attempted to start a farm. Her mother shared her history and stories of Ghana, and so Alma knew that's where her journey would take her eventually.
And my dad attempted to come back a couple of times. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Yeah. But the last time he actually came to establish a farm.
Oh, wow, okay.
So there's definitely an element of walking in my father's footsteps and trying to complete his legacy.
A few years back, she was approached by a headhunter, recruiting her to take a program in Masters of the School of Economics in the UK. They offered her a scholarship where she learned about innovation in business across the globe. She was inspired, and she knew that she definitely was going to go back to Ghana to do something new.
But I think the tipping point for me came about 4 years ago. Okay. Might even be 5 at this point. But I had been running a business in the UK for about 10 years. Done quite well. It was a social enterprise, and through the work that I did, I was headhunted by the London School of Economics to do an executive master's. So they gave me a scholarship to complete the program. And as I was on this program and I was learning about innovation around the world, some of it was in Ghana, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, some of it was in Ghana, but almost all of it was being led by white men. And I was like, number one, I know that there's innovation happening in my country by Ghanaians. I need to find those people. And number two, I need to be one of them. So that was the tipping point for me. I was like, okay, do you know what? I think I've done a lot in the UK, and maybe it's time to do something in Ghana.
She wasn't quite sure what at that moment, but she set her net out there to her network to let them know these are her skill sets and this is what she can do. Over the last 10 years running her social enterprise, she specialized in consulting, strategic consulting to be exact. She shared this, and within no time, she had an opportunity land in her lap.
So that was the tipping point. I started putting out feelers within my network to say, you know, I want to come home. This is what I'm good at. I'd done quite a bit of consultancy work, strategic consultancy specifically. So I just kind of started throwing things out, you know, through my networks. Just throwing it out. And then end of 2019, year of return, of course. Yes. It was actually through my brother Kweku, who you know. He was like, okay, there's this agriculture business in MIM that needs a strategy consultant. Can you go have a look at the business and see what you can do?
Her brother shared with her there was an agricultural company in Ghana looking for a strategic consultant. She was excited. She shared this with her mom and told her about this opportunity. Can you believe that this was a great opportunity that happened to be exactly where her mom went to secondary school? Wow, talk about coincidence.
So I then told my mum, I said, okay, mum, I've got my first gig in Ghana. It's an agriculture business in MIM. And she was like, MIM? Ah, where in Ghana is MIM? What, Krombe? No.
Yeah.
And so we had to look at a map, and I was like, okay, well, it's here. It's, 450 kilometers from Accra, etc., etc. She was like, in MIM. In MIM.
You didn't say it right.
I didn't say it right. I was like, MIM. In MIM. She's like, and you're gonna me call school.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah, Mim.
Oh my goodness.
So my mum finished her secondary education about 10 minutes from here.
Oh my goodness.
She went to learn to see what was involved. 2,000 acres of agricultural land, full of sugarcane, cashews, and a lot of help needed.
So how many acres for the sugarcane?
50 acres of sugarcane.
50 acres of sugarcane.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have 2 harvests a year.
Okay.
So yeah, about 6 months essentially.
Alma was innovative. She was curious, and she did a lot of research. She discovered the possibilities that presented themselves with sugarcane. She did her market research and learned something that I knew nothing about, that in fact, sugarcane is the main product in rum.
So this is our fermentation tank with a capacity of 4,000 liters.
Okay.
So normally a full production a day will be about 2. That's 8,000 for a day.
Wow.
And then before we add the yeast, we need to check the Brix level, how the Brix is before we add the yeast, because the yeast will convert the sugar into alcohol. So normally 3 to 4 days it will be ready, and then the Brix meter will be checked, and then it will be 0 before you can distill. You have a meter to check it to see how the Brix is. So when it is 0, then there is no sugar in. But when you check it and then it's maybe 0.5, 0.6, there is sugar in. You need to wait.
So as Nana said, we add yeast, but we've also been experimenting with wild fermentation, where you don't add any yeast, but it will still ferment under the right conditions.
Temperature or,
Exactly.
Does it have to be heated? So what happened? Like what temperature?
With the rum that we are using now, the yeast that we are using now is just a hot yeast.
Okay.
Different yeast types. Add a cold one, but right now the one that you're using is okay. Okay. The heat is okay for us.
Yes, she did a lot of market research and discovered that rum outweighed the sales of whiskey in the UK. This is surprising because we know in the UK they love their whiskey. Sugarcane had the potential if she went and started a distillery. Now this is something she had never thought of doing, but the possibilities presented themselves. Also, the cashews could be used to make apple cashew brandy.
And we want to make sure that this alcohol is on our lips and we buy it as well. Tell us about the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I never dreamt of running an alcohol brand or rum. Really, the decision to focus the business on this product came from market research.
Okay.
My team will tell you, all I do is ask questions, why? Why and how, right? Everything that we do has to be data driven. So as I started to look at the market for rum specifically, I recognized that rum sales in the last 10 years are literally just going up and up and up. So in the UK specifically, last year, rum sales overtook whiskey for the first time in history.
What?
And you know the UK.
They love their whiskey.
They love their whiskey. They make a lot of the world's whiskey. So for rum to be selling more than whiskey,
wow,
you have to then start questioning what's going on.
Yeah.
The concept was started in her mind and it started to permeate. But she still had lots of research to do. She knew nothing about running a distillery, nothing about the alcohol market. She did her research. She explored about other opportunities across the globe of other entrepreneurs that had started the industry, distilleries in the alcohol industry.
Okay, so Uncle Nearest Whiskey was founded by a black woman, African-American woman.
Okay.
Her name is Fawn Weaver.
Okay.
And she uncovered the story of a man called Uncle Nearest who taught Jack Daniel how to make whiskey. And she learned this story and then decided to create a whiskey brand in his honor.
Wow.
It's currently the fastest growing American whiskey brand in history. She's turning over $100 million a year and she's like, I'm going to be multiplying this over time.
Oh my goodness, so that is the industry.
So last year I went and met her for the first time.
She connected with many of them. She learnt and she talked to many people in Ghana who had started businesses. After all, she had lots of experience in the UK, but not in Ghana. Things were different in Ghana.
And I also hear people say, if I'm going back to Ghana, I have to go and start my own business. I'm not going to go there and work for somebody, right? That's the mentality that a lot of people come here with. And I'm like, have you ever run a business in the UK where you can register a business in the same day, where you have electricity constantly, where you have roads, where you have running water? Have you run a business there? No. And yet you think that if you come to Ghana, you shouldn't come and work for a Ghanaian. Because why? They have nothing to teach you. And for me, and I'm not saying that this is obviously the story for everybody that has you know, experienced hardships, because it isn't, but I'm just speaking of sometimes what I feel to be a harmful rhetoric that some of us come back with. And I was doing business in the UK for 10 years, and everything that I learned has been applied to this business.
She discovered a few things that needed to change right off the bat when she first got there. The farmers were paid nothing. In fact, they really did a lot of hard work and were not compensated. Amma changed that straight away, increasing the farmers' salary 50%, just like that.
So when I took over, one of the first things I did was increase their salaries by 50%. Wow. And I had to do that while simultaneously cutting our losses at the farm, also by 50%. Because the work that these women are doing is incredibly hard. Farmers typically in Africa don't get paid a lot. And so for me, while you see the beautiful packaging and the, you know, the fancy products, at the core, the question has to be, how do we return value to farmers? How do we ensure that we can still grow delicious, beautiful produce that feeds us, that we all need, in a way that isn't exploitative, right?
She started to identify the needs for different skill sets of her staff. This was just starting, and she was off to the races. She decided to call her business Rain. And the reason for this is she wanted to create a place and a community of royalty. So every staff member felt royal. Every member that came to visit this plant, this distillery, this plantation, would feel like royalty. And this was obvious when Denta arrived for the interview.
This is Rain.
This is Rain.
Oh my God, such beautiful packaging. the logo. Why Rain? Why the name Rain?
So essentially what I'm trying to create here, everything that you've seen, everything that you're going to see, is I'm trying to create a place and a community where everyone feels royal. Wow. So everyone that works here, everyone that comes and visits us is royal, feels royal, is treated as if they are royalty. Wow. And what you will see in the iconography is African royalty.
It is.
Quite specifically Ashanti royalty.
Okay.
Right?
Because you are Ashanti.
I am. I'm an Ashanti babe.
Alma showed professionalism from the get-go, welcoming her with open arms, taking her to start the tour off at the administration block, where she introduced her senior staff. Her senior staff welcomed and were treated with that royalty. You could tell right off the back that Alma had a great connection with all of her staff.
Hey, Alma!
Welcome.
Oh my God.
Yes. You
Like,
have arrived.
I have arrived.
Yes.
This is amazing. Honestly, I'm just...
So this is Kweku Frimpong.
Nice to meet you. So what do you take care of here?
Basically, the operations manager, take care of farms, take care of distillery, the workshop.
Okay.
Basically, also about sales.
Okay.
You know, your farm with the produce that comes out. We are basically in charge of.
Okay, so you're in charge of the farms. Is he the one that's gonna?
No.
Okay.
So he's operations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he takes care of operations
Okay.
primarily. They also call him Baby Last because he's the newest member of the team. Everyone calls me Mum. Can you believe?
I know.
I
can't believe that.
I've had no children.
I can't believe that.
They call me
Ghanaians and mum.
Mum, Mama, Mama Gan.
Hey, Mama got it.
Yeah, Mama
Wow.
Gan. Madame, small Madame. I have so many names. Next person for you to meet is my right-hand woman.
Oh, wow.
She's the director of HR.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Madame.
Hello, Madame.
Jemima.
Jemima, nice to meet you. So HR, you're in charge of all the staff, everybody.
Yes, please.
She knows everybody.
Yeah.
She sees everything.
Wow.
Yes, she's
have the third
eyes
eye.
and ears.
Nice to meet you.
This is the last office in the admin block.
Okay.
Cephas.
Cephas, nice to meet you. Denta, nice to meet you.
So this is our finance manager,
Oh, the cash man.
the cash man.
Fantastic.
Perry as well.
Perry.
Yep.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you,
We
Perry.
read a lot about you yesterday.
Oh, really? Oh, good stuff, I hope. So what are you in charge of? What do you do?
I'm in charge of the systems and the network team.
Okay. So IT, technology.
stuff, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic.
She let them share their thoughts and ideas, all the key main roles of the senior positions. She then took Denta to the distillery, and this is where I was educated about the process of making rum. It was incredible, from the grinding of the sugarcane, how much sugar is in sugarcane, and what they did to distill this and make into rum. And it's just not any rum. There's so many varieties of rum.
So this is the distillery
Yep.
where the magic happens.
Where everything happens, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So come through. These are two of the guys who run this place.
Okay.
Sylvanos, aka QA.
QA.
That's his name,
Oh,
QA.
wow. QA.
Everybody's on code names here.
Oh, really? QA.
Everyone's here on code names.
Nice to meet you.
Nana Kwame. So Nana Kwame is our head distiller.
Okay.
QA stands for quality assurance. So
Oh, okay.
they're very much a tag team.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fantastic. This is brilliant. Okay. I heard you.
I heard, yeah.
Sugar cane.
Organic sugar cane.
Wow.
Thank you. So
Wow.
this is where it all starts. This is, we have to look at how much sugar you get in the sugar cane. It's called the bricks.
Okay.
And when you check the bricks, and really Nana Kwame should be the one telling a lot of this, because
Okay.
this is my main guy
Okay.
in the distillery.
Okay.
But when you check the bricks content of the sugar cane, which is how much sugar, you can actually calculate what the alcohol percentage of the rum will be when it's made at the end. So what are we looking at the moment for bricks?
17.
Oh wow, that's the highest we've ever had.
Okay.
So when we started, we were maybe getting 10, 11.
11. Average, I just average 13.2.
When it got to 13, we were quite happy.
Okay.
So this year, when it got to 16, 17, then it was like, wow, okay.
How does it get to 16, 17? How does it go up?
It's like the rain season and the dry season.
Okay.
So when it's dry season, then the Brix is higher.
Yeah.
Wow.
When it's rain season, but you get a more liquid, but the yield will be, the Brix will be small.
So we have to find a balance
Wow.
between the yield and the bricks.
And how much sugar cane are you using in the product, like as a total, like this? Like how many?
A day is 7 tons.
7 tons.
A day.
But the machine can operate up 20 tons a day with the 8 tons.
She also talked about the apples that cashews come with, and they made an apple cashew brandy. As she shared with Denta the process of making this rum and brandy, she also showed the barrels and where the barrels were, showed the innovation, the different styles and different types. But what I found really amazing about this tour is how professional it went from start to finish. Of course, she had Denta put on the hairnet, and the people that were showing the tour, the gentlemen were giving it, were very informative and very professional. Class act all the way along.
So this is the first step in making alcohol.
Okay.
Any type of alcohol, it's always fermented.
Okay.
So,
And did everyone use sugar cane to make alcohol?
No.
Okay.
Different types of alcohol use different raw materials.
Okay.
To make rum, it has to be based on sugarcane.
Okay.
You can use different sugarcane products. So we are using fresh juice.
Okay.
Some distilleries will use molasses, which is usually of processed sugar.
Okay.
Some will use a sugarcane syrup.
Okay.
But we are actually growing our sugarcane for the purpose of making
the alcohol.
Rum. Yeah.
She shared the history of rum making, and I didn't know a lot of this. And again, this is stuff that she had learned from people in the United States, as well, of course, we know that in the Caribbean, rum is very welcome there. She discussed how the traditional ways of Africa are actually traced back to how rum was made in the Caribbean. I was amazed and educated at this.
You know what's interesting as well about the story of Uncle Nearest is people know of Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
So Jack Daniel is Tennessee whiskey. Uncle Nearest taught Jack Daniel how to make Tennessee whiskey. What makes Tennessee whiskey what it is the fact that it's filtered through maple coals.
Wow.
We've been filtering water through coal in Africa
for years.
So it's believed that what makes Tennessee whiskey is actually based on African culture, techniques, practices.
They sampled a little bit of here and a little bit of that, and I was shocked at the proof of alcohol. Anything from 39% to 66% alcohol proof. My goodness, that's some strong stuff.
So we're going to start with the white rum.
Okay.
So this has come fresh off the still today. And it's 66.25% alcohol.
I can handle that.
You can handle that. So this is our white rum. So I recommend starting with a sniff. Whoa. It's powerful. 66.25% alcohol.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't be winning. No.
This is why we blend. So we blend our rum. Some of it is flavored. Some of it is brought down in alcohol content as well. But so this is literally straight off of the still.
Denta got to sample a little bit of each, and she was amazed at the smells, the taste, the flavors. And she asked questions, and she was engaged. She was a little bit concerned about how this would affect her interviewing skills, so she didn't go too crazy with it. But she said, you know, what's beautiful is not only is the taste great, but the way the bottle is packaged, it's class act. It looks beautiful. So the product from the processing stage all the way to the finishing stage definitely was showing royalty.
So when you smell, have your mouth open slightly. It helps with the aromas circulating.
That smells lovely. Okay. Oh, I love this. Okay.
What are you getting?
Woo! Hey! So I can see the Ashanti stall, our stall. I can see, yep, I can see the crown.
Yep.
Wow, I can see the crown. I can see the sword, right? What is it? What's this?
Yeah, so these are porcupine quills.
The porcupine.
Yes, the porcupine, Asante Kotoko.
Yes, of course.
Yep. The horns as well. So the idea is for those who understand where this comes from, you'll see it and you'll go, ah, I see Asesedia, I see the horn, I see. But if you don't, if this isn't your culture, you would still see it and think, oh, that's a nice bottle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? That's kind of how I've designed it.
This is beautiful.
As they continued on the tour, they went to the farm, and this is where, again, I learned so very much. I knew nothing about farming sugar cane or cashews for that matter. But to my amazement, most of the farmers were women. And I don't know about you, but I didn't know how hard it was to harvest sugar cane. It's a big, strong job. A lot of oomph needs to be put into it. And as they were showing how this was done.
Yeah. And as you said, they're all women that are working.
Mostly.
My goodness.
Yeah.
They are
Mostly
digging
women.
out the sugar cane.
Yeah, so 60% of farmers in Africa are women. And Aduse was explaining
how difficult it is to get the sugar cane out. You said 7 men came.
Yes.
And they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it. The first day they left.
They quit.
They quit.
Oh my goodness. How are the women doing it? These are strong women.
They are very strong.
I was mesmerized. No wonder these farmers deserved a raise, 50% of their salaries, because this is hard work in the heat, in the sun, and these women were committed to making this. But it wasn't just about harvesting the sugarcane. They had to remove the leaves and then break it into pieces, 10 sugar canes in each bundle. They tied it with the sugarcane leaves with a special knot, and then they would carry it on their head, in their arms, many different ways, to the tractors so they could get back to the distillery.
I mean, I've just carried the sugar cane. I carried 2. Some of them are carrying 3 and 4 on their heads, just to make a product for you. And so
it's a whole holistic process which they're doing.
It shows that the product is not just about one person, it's about the whole community coming together to build. And for me, I'm so impressed, and we also need to make sure that we are supporting women in agriculture and supporting the likes of Amma, who is behind this, who is encouraging this, she mentioned that she's even increased the women's pay by 50%, and that's encouraging. We need to make sure that we are paying our farmers the way that they should and the way that they deserve.
This was not an easy job, and in fact, Denta got right into it and she helped out. She helped carry it through the fields to the tractor, and she was sweating and you could see her almost lose her balance. So she obviously showed it was not an easy job.
Hey!
okay, now find your way through all of this with that on your head.
Oh, me a gangster.
Yeah, wow. Unkwanko, baby.
F4 in the away. Munjie. Hey, Mumba say mommy, but why are they?
These women were determined, but they felt respected, seen and heard. Amma had this connection with every staff member she has, and she shared that without them she wouldn't be able to do the work that she does. It takes every person to build this beautiful dream a reality. She empowers her staff to feel part of the process, part of the family, to have a sense of responsibility, to know that what their job is doing contributes to the success of this brand. I thought this was a wonderful way, and she shared some tips for entrepreneurs looking to come to Africa to start businesses. Really valuable lessons.
And people complain a lot about staff. Staff anywhere in the world is the hardest thing about running a business.
Yeah.
Finding the right people to support you and help you build a vision.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own vision. So why are they going to, you know, support yours? I don't see a lot of those challenges as being unique to Ghana. I see a lot of those challenges as being unique to business and human nature.
Right.
And I can only speak of my experience, but I think the approach that I have taken and the approach I've seen others take to coming back and leading from a position of empowerment as opposed to colonization has been key for me, and is why I feel every time I'm here and I'm around my staff, I feel empowered because I'm empowering them.
Right.
And it's mutual, and that for me is what keeps us going.
Anybody that comes in thinking they can start a business just like that because they know it all without wanting to be open-minded and learn from people in Africa are sadly mistaken and probably won't be very successful. Alma shared with us that it was her open-mindedness. Yes, she used her skill sets that she had from her previous business, but she was open to learn from people in Africa about farming, about business, as well as from the people what they wanted, because she was making the rum not just as part of a business, but every aspect from the produce, the farming, to completing the processes. It's all about community.
Sis, how important do you think it is for us diasporans to come back and invest and build?
I think the diaspora coming back to the continent is a vital element in what the future of Africa has to be. I'm building a global business. The fact that I have global experience is really key to that and really important to the successes that we've already experienced. I also think that for me, the successes I have experienced, and I'm very early at the beginning of my journey, is also due to the way in which I've approached my return. I haven't come back believing that I am the solution.
Yeah.
I've come back knowing that there are Ghanaians doing stuff,
Yeah.
right? And I've come to share what I have, what I know, but also to learn. And hopefully you'll get to meet some of my staff and ask them yourself, you know, what is my leadership style? What is my approach? We've got almost 2,000 acres here. I can't run it by myself. And if I walk around thinking that I am the big I am and I don't need anybody, then nobody's gonna help me and nothing's gonna get done. And so it was really important to me that in establishing my leadership here, that everybody understood that they have responsibility. And with responsibility comes great privilege, but also comes, you know, a weight.
Yeah.
And I take my responsibility incredibly seriously. I recognize that there's at least 200 families in this country whose livelihood is dependent on this business.
Absolutely.
And every one of us that works here has to shoulder that, which can be challenging.
She said that the staff at her company helped 200 families in Ghana survive. So it's not just about the job, it's not just about the rum, it's about sense of community, about the African people, and she sees the potential in Africans, in Africa, and of course in farming. I learned a lot about agriculture that I didn't know. Obviously, we're so used to seeing the final product, whether it's food or rum, and we don't think much about what goes into it, but the hard work, the stages and the processes that show every step of this journey were incredible.
So when I am in the field and I'm meeting my farmers, I see them and I see me and I see my mum and I see my grandparents, and it means that I can't possibly engage with those women and men as though they're anything less than me.
Absolutely.
Which I feel like is often the expectation of agriculture and farming and farmers is, you know, the work that farmers do is one of the most important and powerful things that we can do as human beings. They literally feed us. They keep us alive.
You know, agriculture has not seemed sexy. It's not seemed as a good job to do. But how important do you think agriculture is to Ghana, to Africa in general?
It's the lifeblood. It's the lifeblood of Ghana, Africa, and the world. And like you said, agriculture and farming isn't seen as sexy, but rain is super sexy.
It
right?
is, yeah.
Rain is super sexy. And this is the point, you know, you saw it at Black Star Line Fest. People have seen it in other places.
We are in the UK as well.
Yeah. We're in the UK. We're looking at distributions in different parts of the world, and people see the product, they see the brand, and they're like, oh, this is beautiful, it's sexy, it's all of these things, right? And I want people to have those feelings, and I want them to enjoy the product. But I also want at least some people to scratch beneath the surface and start asking questions. Okay.
How was this done?
Where has it come from?
Yeah.
It's made in Ghana?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, so how is rum made? Sugarcane. Oh, okay. So farmers, agriculture. Wait, so what? This is an agricultural product?
But what inspired me most was Ama's dedication, determination, and love for her legacy, for her history, her heritage, and for learning something new every single day. I encourage you all to check out this channel and watch this video fully because there's so much great information, and I will continue to learn not only about agriculture, entrepreneurship, but more about Africa, because each time I come across a new channel, I'm learning, and I hope that I'm encouraging you to do the same. Until next time, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like and share, and take a second to hit that notification button so each time I upload some new content, you'll be notified. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye!